All right. So I just had this idea while I was driving to work, because I think it's interesting. I get bored on my drive to work, right? And it's hard for a lot of people to stay off their phones, and so I'm usually listening to a podcast or something. In my day in the life video I made, I had there was a podcast I was listening to. It's called the Pipe It Up podcast. It's about Major League Wiffle Ball, and so that's what I listen to. But they only come out on like Wednesdays, and so there are certain days I just have nothing to do. Like today, I'm heading to work for a men's basketball game. It's on a Saturday, right? I usually work Monday through Friday, and so I'm sitting here. I don't have a podcast to listen to, and I was like, I should just talk a little bit. And so this is something I've told a lot of my friends already. None of my friends know about this channel or anything, and so I'm just talking out into the void. I might as well just chat with y'all. You know what I mean? Chat with the camera. And so here's my thing. It was last night. I was waiting for we had a Christmas work party at a restaurant called Potato Shack, and it started at 7:30, and so I'm just kind of in town because I commute to work, and so I had 2.5 hours to kill after work. Got some work done that I didn't get during the day, and then I kind of just sat around and was waiting for the party. And there's this park in town that I really like called East Thompson Park. And I was driving by it just to kind of, get the vibes. And there was a bunch of deer standing in it. And I was like, wow, I've never seen any deer over here. So I got out of my car, pretty far away, obviously. So I didn't just get out right in front of the deer. I got out of my car, and I just kind of walked over to them where I was close enough to see them, and just kind of just watch them. It was super quiet. It was kind of dark. I was standing next to a lamppost, and they have like these exercise things out there, like pull-up bars and some other stuff. And so I was just kind of like stretching out my back and my shoulders with it. And it started it wasn't raining yet, but it started lightning and thundering. And I was like, whoa. And I love lightning and thunder personally, but I know a lot of people are scared of it. And I'm just looking at the deer just sitting there unbothered. I'm like, man, nature is crazy. It makes so much sense for them to just be like, well, there's nothing we can do about it. They don't have a house to go inside of. They don't really care if it's raining. They're eating the grass, standing there. It starts raining, cool. They're just enjoying the weather. And so I had half a mind to just kind of stand there and enjoy the rain too, but had to go to Potato Shack. So I got in my car, and lightning thundered again. I'm looking at the deer, they're just unfazed. But the point of this story is just, it's interesting to me that I feel like we're getting past nature at this point, where with technology and cars at this point, nature cannot comprehend what cars are, you know what I mean? And so they don't get out of the way of cars. You'll be driving to work, you'll see dead deer, dogs, cats. None of them understand what this stuff is. And so it just makes me wonder, I'm like, at what point do we just stop? What point are we just all right, let's go back to horses and wagons and all that stuff? I know it's it sucks, because personally I work 50 minutes away, so it's kind of for me it wouldn't work. But man, the ideal world would just be no cars, just, I don't know. And I know a lot of people are, people talk about global warming and stuff, and I don't know how much cars do to that and whatnot, but it's just man, I feel like the world would just be a better spot almost if we didn't have cars. Because at this point, I know a lot of y'all probably heard the quote where it's what is it? Back in the day, the rich owned cars and the poor owned horses, and now it's the opposite, where the rich own horses and the poor own cars, and you kind of have to own a car to do anything. I couldn't work if I didn't have this car, right? Unless I wanted to work at a fast food place on my street. And that's so interesting. We created money, and then we kind of put ourselves in a position where you have to go get money to get a car. I don't know. I feel like a lot of people, if their parents don't buy them a car, they're kind of screwed. You know, it's hard, you know, asking people, hey, can you drive me to work, you know, X amount of times a week, and then they got to save up for a car. I don't know. But I wish I had a horse to ride to work instead. You know, it'd be fun. And I wouldn't have to pay gas. I would just have to pay to feed the horse and, you know, upkeep it. But that's different. It's like an animal that's doing you a service, so you kind of like owe it to the animal to take care of it, you know, take care of him or her or whatever. And so, but yeah, and so I've been rambling for about 6 minutes now, and I don't know. That's all I really had to say. I think it's interesting that we're in these cars. I'm in my car every single day, at least an hour and a half out of the day, and I know that's not as bad compared to some people. I try to walk to lunch every day, or I'll bring my lunch, or I'll walk to the library, get Starbucks, the student center, etc. But yeah, it's interesting. I feel like we're getting fat too because of it. I don't know. I know a lot of people who they live basically right next to campus, but like they'd rather drive to their class instead of walk. And it's always, oh, but there's a hill right here, there's this or there's that. And honestly, like for my entire college career, except for 1 year, I lived right next to campus, and I would walk every day. And you just have to find a way to enjoy, you know, the walk. I used to live in a part of town where it was kind of like, the part of campus that was right next to my building was just concrete. I hated it. So I would purposefully leave a little bit earlier, take a longer walk so I could go through trees and grass. And it was just like a prettier area. I'd walk by the duck pond, and if y'all don't know, Sam Houston has this area called the duck pond, and that's where Sam Houston's last house he owned is. And so like you can go and check that out. But I would walk kind of through there and then head to class, because the mass communications building is right on that side. But anyway, yeah, I mean, if I need to wrap this up in any way, it's just, man, I don't know, just maybe we should try to use our cars less at the very least. I feel like what I said about cars, you know, we need to get rid of them, it's not exactly realistic. And that's fair. You know, I couldn't live without my car right now. I live 30 minutes from the closest friends in either direction pretty much. You know, my family's 30 minutes south. All my friends are about 50 minutes north, besides Justin, who's 20 minutes north. And so I wouldn't be able to get to work. So I live with my fiance, but she works south. I work north. But anyway, yeah, I mean, try to use your car less. And enjoy the days, enjoy the walks. You know, I mean, there's only so many steps your body realistically has left in it. You might as well use them up, you know. And maybe the more you do use some, you get some back. I don't know, there's like a cashback reward for it, kind of. You walk more, you get to live longer, so you get to walk even longer. But anyways, yeah, that's all I had to rant about. Or I guess not rant, but yap about. Have a good day. Take a walk. You know, even if you don't have anywhere to walk to, take a walk. If you're at work and there's a place that's nearby, a spot that you haven't tried, walk to it, check it out, you know, within reason, of course. But all right, bye-bye.